Today we have Dr. Ashleigh Peterson. She is a Christian wife, a mom of 3, nurse practitioner, pre- and postnatal fitness specialist, and the founder of Worthy Women, which actually has 2 different facets to it. There's one side that has Living Worthy Wellness Program, and on the other is your postpartum support. And as of recently, Dr. Ashleigh was a guest speaker for Renewed Movement at our Bloom and Bond event held at Sweet Pea Designs. So Dr. Ashleigh, meet the Renewed Movement family.
Hello.
Renewed Movement family, meet Dr. Ashleigh.
Hello, hello.
Huh?
So happy to be here. This is awesome.
I'm pumped. So even like when you walked in, like I feel like we just get to like chit-chatting,
Yes.
and that was literally our first conversation on the phone.
Yes.
I remember parking my car and being like, oh my gosh, like I'm so nervous to like talk to
Yes.
someone that I don't know, because I feel like as introverted as I am, or extroverted,
Yep.
every now and then I get a little like
Totally.
nervous.
Yep.
And it was instant like,
Yep.
hey,
What's
up? Yes.
Yes, we have the same energy, and
I love it.
Yeah,
I absolutely love it. I am excited to have you here because I personally have a bone to pick about a few things.
Yes.
So now that I have like an expert on my side to either bring me back down to reality and or make sure that I'm kind of like getting the facts straight. The other day, Blake and I had gone to, where did we go? Oh, I'm actually not going to say the restaurant. We had gone out to eat after service, and I was deciding between like a salad and a burger, and like not a pregnancy thing. I just love those two. So when the waitress came by, I was like, well, which one should I get? Like, can you help me navigate to the right one? And her response, and I hear this so often within like different generations, is, you're pregnant, you're eating for 2, go for the burger and like the extra large fry and all of these things. And I know that it's well intended, and it's one of those quotes that have lived the test of time
Yes.
and will probably continue much after.
Yes.
But I don't think that that's very helpful. And for people who maybe aren't as conscious when it comes to macros or feeding their bodies properly, when they hear that, they're like, let's go for it all.
Yes.
Like, what do you
Yes.
think about that line or just all of it?
Yes, and I think so. Definitely working in the office and seeing pregnant mamas, of course, wanting the best for them, and then seeing mamas who have like gestational diabetes or who have gained a lot of weight, and getting to talk to them about that and help them, with their nutrition, things like that. It is, I'm not sure it's well intended when they say, oh, eat for 2. I think it's more just, like a lighthearted joke.
Yeah.
But I think it's honestly causing more harm than good. Because there could be women that also have had a past of maybe this is not their first pregnancy, and maybe they had intrauterine growth restriction with their first pregnancy.
I know prior to, I was having probably around like 1,900 calories, and then my proteins, I think, were between like 120 and 140, like pretty well. But when I hear people say, you're eating for 2, double up, I'm like, I can't do 4. First off, you can't do 4,000 calories.
Yes, no.
But they have to be nutrient dense. So I feel like that's
Correct.
kind of sometimes the misconception of,
Yes.
you can definitely have more, which we should,
Yes.
especially postpartum and breastfeeding. But
Yes.
it depends on what you're fueling your body with that really makes the difference.
Yes.
So
And you might know this, but in pregnancy, I've heard it talk about, instead of doubling, you should eat for 1.1
okay.
technically. So
Yeah, tell more about
you
that.
So you think, you're the 1, obviously, and then the 0.1 is baby. So
Yeah.
especially in that first trimester, there's not really a difference of like energy expenditure. And for some women, especially in the first trimester when you're not feeling well, that's not for all women, but you might be moving less and you might be resting more, which is fine, which is, might be what your body needs. Also, caveat to that, exercise and moving your body can help with morning sickness, things like
Yeah.
that. We can talk about that too.
Yes.
But as you progress in pregnancy, yes, you do need more calories, but it's definitely not eating for 2. It's definitely not doubling your
Yeah.
macros, your calorie count. And interestingly enough, you actually need more calories when you're breastfeeding than when you are pregnant.
Yes. Okay. I had that in my notes, and that's something that I heard because I think especially my generation, our generation, like TikTok, Google, Chat GPT, it's so easy to run to those things because not everyone has someone that they can call and say, hey, is this factual information or not? But I did see that second trimester, it goes up by 340 calories because it supports growth and placenta development. Third trimester, it goes up to 450 to 500 calories because of baby's brain and fat stores. And then it does say that when you're postpartum breastfeeding, you need more then. So that is factual.
It is. So, and even the placenta development, I mean, that's your first trimester, that's also where a lot of the nausea comes from because your HCG is super high. So you're building an organ. Like you're building your placenta in that first trimester. So that does, I mean, that's what also lends to the fatigue and things like that. But sorry, I'm getting sidetracked.
No, I love that. You're literally just a wealth of knowledge. So if your brain is saying, let's go that way,
oh, goodness.
go that way, let's follow it.
Sorry.
No, I love that because I do feel like you touched on movement, and that was one of the things that I wanted to talk about. I obviously ran a marathon, have been very active, all of the things. And I know that I did want to put on here that every pregnancy is different.
Yes.
I know that it really depends on doctor's approval and everything else. So I don't want anyone to just be like, well, let's go and do this. But I have heard like limit your movement, or like you can't or you shouldn't do these things.
Girl.
I personally think that I took that as a personal stab, and I'm like,
yes,
watch me.
Yeah, right.
Because it feels good. And I know that I hope that it'll pay dividends in postpartum.
Oh, it will. It absolutely will. So we could talk for hours.
Let's.
So yes. So we know, I mean, so much of the research shows moving your body will absolutely, it helps you be healthier. It helps baby be healthier, not just while they're in you, but also honestly for the rest of their life, which is huge. But also for you, for postpartum recovery, when you kind of have that baseline in pregnancy, yes, it makes that postpartum recovery easier. It will. And again, like you are very active and you're going to pelvic floor PT.
Yes. Love her.
You are being taught how to, first of all, you've been strengthening your body. You're getting that cardiorespiratory activity. But then you are also preparing for delivery. That's a totally different training than just strength training. Preparing your pelvic floor and your core and how to breathe. We could talk for hours about breathing even. Like it's so important and it's so simple. Like I think a lot of people just disregard it because it's like, oh, we breathe without even realizing it. But purposeful breaths will be huge in delivery. But then also with postpartum recovery as well. But to go back to movement in pregnancy, we know that it helps reduce the risk of gestational diabetes. It reduces the risk of your baby getting too large. It reduces the risk of you gaining too much weight. There's just so many benefits. I could go on and on.
I did have on here, and then let me know if this is factual information or not, that it does help even with like round ligament pain, back aches, certain, I'm trying to find my notes, but those were the two that I had for sure. It was
I will say the round ligament pain you might not be able to avoid that because that is more, so if you picture the uterus obviously getting bigger and bigger, that round ligament is what holds that uterus in place essentially. So that will stretch with the growing baby. So that round ligament pain is that, that quick like twinge, like, oh my goodness, kind of pain. But that's not a concerning pain. If you're having consistent pain and it's in a certain area, absolutely talk with your provider about that or your pelvic floor PT, and they likely will be better able to address that. So that's totally different. So round ligament pain, I've not read that movement necessarily reduces that. That's more so just because
fake news.
Fake news. That one's fake. Bigger.
What about the lower back pain?
Yes. Absolutely. So again, with pregnancy, our center of gravity shifts. Our pelvis is turned more anteriorly. Our belly is growing bigger, which is a beautiful thing, but it does pull our lower back out of alignment. And so we get more curvature in our lower back. And so that's what can cause a lot of low back pain. So some of that can't fully avoid in pregnancy, but you can definitely really be cognizant of neutral alignment. When you are doing your everyday activities, not like hunched over essentially, but we talk about your ears, your shoulders, and your hips always in alignment. Lift with your legs, not with your back. All of these things are super, honestly, again, they're simple, but they're so important and they really come into play. And then you take that to postpartum. Your body has been stretched. There's been trauma to your tissues, your pelvic floor, no matter the mode of delivery. Excuse me. And so you shift to postpartum and now your core is not strong anymore because it's been stretched, it's weakened now. So that's where like I talk about like belly banding can be really helpful. I've seen a lot of different like time frames. I've seen 6 days max. I've seen 40 days max. Okay. So I've seen different things about it can help with low back pain in the postpartum period because you're just so weak. It kind of keeps the organs in place, the internal organs. But you don't want to
better support that like posture type.
Exactly. Okay. Yes. Because you'll experience. I remember being so surprised after my first baby, just like leaning over to get into the bassinet to pick up my baby. I was like, oh my goodness.
I heard that that's going to be. There's a few things that I've heard that do make sense no matter how well you prepare, just because your body has gone through the largest trauma. Yes. That's going to be the largest trauma that my body has ever gone through. Yes. So I think that there's some that are just unavoidable, but the preparation, and we had mentioned it earlier, like you wouldn't go to a marathon. Exactly. I mean, there are people that do it and good for them, but I'm not trying to hurt that bad. Yes. So I wouldn't go to a marathon unprepared, whether that's nutrition, mindset, preparation of my body, breathing. I never realized how difficult it was for mindful breathing. We were doing like 360 breathing and just like, okay, just showing me how to use my abdomen. And it took a second for me to do the mind muscle connection, even though I've been athletic. I don't know how much of an athlete I want to say that I am, but it's still very difficult. And I can only assume that even during delivery, it's one of those things that I'm going to have to try to pull myself out of whatever labor land I'm in to kind of recheck and do all the things.
And honestly, I think mindset is absolutely huge. I would say mindset and breathing are like your 2 number 1 for labor. Yes, so you go. You go, girl. But it's almost really excellent because when you're in labor, we know how much breathing helps, but that takes your mind to the breath too. Oh yeah. So you're focused on that breath and that can help. We already know it's research proven that helps reduce the pain or intensity. Some people don't like to use the word pain. They'll say surges or whatever. And I think that's great too. That's a mindset thing. And so, I think mindset is
top game too.
Absolutely.
I love that. Cause I think another thing that I said earlier when we were just sitting here chit chatting is, there's 2, like you wouldn't go to war thinking that you're going to lose. And I'm not saying that labor is war, but sometimes like it's an internal mental war, you know, like to trust in God that my body is capable, to trust in whatever that the Lord has planned for my delivery. Because my other quote is Mike Tyson's, everyone has a plan until they get punched in the face. I will be humbled by my birthing experience, I'm sure, but having faith that it's all going to work out for sure. Yes. So you said mindset, breathing, movement, nutrition. Yes. What else can help facilitate a better postpartum experience?
Yes. And you're so great about this. You're so huge about the community. And I love too that you're also very intentional about let's be a village, but you also need to be a villager. Yeah. Like you also need to pour back into that village. Yeah. And I think I've personally struggled. I love being part of a community, but sometimes I really struggle accepting help. So being in that humble place, especially this past year after my 3rd baby, like it really humbled me and it really broke me down and like got me to that place where I need to be open to accepting help. And like, that doesn't make me weaker and I'm grateful the Lord like got me there because I think he showed me a lot of things to help like grow from that. But community is huge. And that's what's so tough. That's why I built Worthy Women, because I want to help be a village. And I think maybe I told you that before, and I'm like, how can I be everyone's village? But that's what I so love about what you're doing with Renewed Movement, because you're bringing women together. I'm so grateful. I'm a part of a church family who we have a lot of moms with young kids. So we have a mom's group there. So I've had that since my first baby. So I'm so grateful for that. But there's been moments when I realized, oh my goodness, there are so many women out there and women that I saw in the office that don't have that community. And it just breaks my heart because I know how, we know about historically and in other countries, how much pouring into that mom who just had a baby, supporting her, letting her rest, letting her get sleep while we take care of the baby is so huge. Yeah. But yes, a strong woman. And I'm any single moms, single dads, I'm like, you are incredible. But it really does. It takes a village.
Yeah.
100%.
I definitely love and I almost got emotional when you said it, because it's one of those things where you can say it, like I say it so often, but going into this new chapter now, not having to believe it, but having to be able to take my own advice, because I know it's easier said than done.
Yes.
And I hear a lot of moms talk about, mom guilt, and you think that you should be able to kind of balance all of these plates and wear all of the hats. And when you do reach out to someone, sometimes it feels like you're less than.
Yeah.
And I'm not preparing myself to feel that way, but I know that if I do, it's human.
Yes.
It is totally okay.
Yes.
I think I said this on the reel that we made. Postpartum depression has no bias. It doesn't matter how well educated you are. It doesn't matter what your, village is. It's very much so an independent road that unless you're willing to allow other people to walk with you, and sometimes that's the hardest part.
Yes.
It's going to be a new thing to navigate.
Yes.
So what would you tell any mom who kind of doesn't have a village and is nervous to join a village or to put herself out there to walk into one?
I wish I had like wise words about that, because I'm just
sometimes it's just do it.
It is, because I don't know the whole saying, like I can bring a horse to water, but I can't make it drink.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, the number of times with women I've worked with in health and wellness, but also in pregnancy and postpartum, I can encourage you, I can equip you, I can give you all the knowledge, but until you do it, it's that's when the change will come. And sometimes it's not immediate. It's not, the first time you text someone, it's your life's going to be changed. Right. But this is where I think also preparing for this, even before you're pregnant, but during pregnancy, is so important to be thinking about these things, because you don't want to get to your most vulnerable, sacred time of your life in this postpartum and you just feel lost. And I think that's where a lot of, so I think postpartum depression, that phrase, that term also gets thrown around a lot too. I love that it's getting more attention, like maternal mental health. Yeah, absolutely. That's amazing. But I also want to caution people that, in postpartum, you are lack of sleep. You are not getting the nutrients you need for a lot of women. Yeah. You likely don't get community. You're in isolation, things like this. These are what they use for like prisoners of war. Yeah. So if you think about that, like, why aren't we helping women in that time where they are isolated, where they're not getting sleep, I mean, I love nutrition, and there's so much more. I feel like I can dive more into learning more about nutrition even. Like there's just I'm not a registered dietitian. I got to caveat that. I would love to be. That'll be my next schooling. Don't tell my husband.
Your secret's safe with me.
Uh-oh. Is this on? No.
Oh, man.
But it's just, I mean, and like, so if you think about that, like, we just as a society, like, need to, and again, this is why I love so much what you're doing with Renewed Movement, because you are breaking that down, and you are, again, and with social media, it's so easy to stay behind the screen and not connect. Yes. And aren't you so much more fulfilled when you connect with someone in person versus, we're just texting
all the time? But in today's society, we live behind the screen. Yes. Blake and I talking, there was one time that have you ever had like those little nuggets where you're like, oh my gosh. Yes. He had said we are digitally connected and socially separated. Yes. I'm like, I couldn't believe that anymore. And even though I thrive off of creating content and kind of making sure that people can see what we're doing, at Renewed Movement, it's still so different when you're there. The content is great. The community is better. Yes. And I think that there's something, Northwest Indiana right now is having a lot of like small groups pop up, and the more the merrier. Yes. Amen. It shouldn't be. And that's why I love that Worthy Women, there's a whole village waiting for everything that you have to offer. Yeah. Good. If you're a resource, let if anyone comes to me and they need someone, I know exactly where to take them.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's what these, social clubs, nonprofits, organizations should be. We should all be vessels to whatever you need. Know that my black book is always available to you.
Yes.
And I don't think that there should be like the competition even in businesses because there's a village for everyone.
Yes.
So I love anything that you're doing. I'm behind.
Yes.
I'm so excited. Do you want to share with Renewed Movement what you have coming up, where to find you?
Yes.
And I would love for you to share what you got on that little stand there.
Yes, over there. So I'll get to that in a moment.
Yes.
So right now, Worthy Women was started to help with postpartum because I know that there's such a huge need there. And it kind of was birthed out of my last postpartum experience. I have 3 babies and my third one was our fun one. But it was birthed out of that place that it just felt like I had a village. I know I had a village and I still felt lost. And I think there were like some of my closest villagers also had their own things going on in their lives. So they were less available, whatever. But I wanted a place to where you could kind of come speak with someone who's worked in it, who's experienced it. Like I could work in it and not have any babies and it'd be completely different. The fact that I've also had 3 babies and I've walked that road, I would like to say gives me more,
inside scoop, more knowledge, wisdom.
Yes. Like experience just is so valid. I think a lot, being a mom, in that light, and getting to experience mom guilt and all those things. Anyway, but so then I have the postpartum side, but then I also have the health and wellness side, but I definitely have a huge heart for the postpartum for sure. What I have coming up, I kind of chatted with you a little bit about this before, but I am really passionate about pregnancy fitness. Yes. And so I was pregnant during my very first baby was during COVID. Love it. But I did a lot of at-home workouts because that's just what was great. And it's what worked for me. And so my dream is to make like a free YouTube pregnancy calendar. Yes. And I love Pilates, so maybe we'll throw some of yours mixed in there.
Vice versa. We'll get it going.
But I'm more trained with dumbbell weights at home. But I would love to do some more Pilates stuff. I love it. It's so awesome. The pulse and burn when the girls were talking about that, I was like, yes.
It really is a whole burn.
It's so good. But yeah, so that's kind of what's to come for the summer. I also, our daycare is just blessing us immensely and letting us keep them out for the summer. So I get to have them home, which does make things a little difficult in some ways, but they're holding their spots for the fall.
That's amazing.
So the summer is going to be a little bit slower, I think, and the business side will look a little bit differently than if they are having someone to watch them, obviously, because that's makes things difficult now, you know. But yeah, so I have that coming. I have my one-on-one postpartum coaching, which I love so much. But then I also have automated courses as well. So on the health and wellness side and the postpartum side. Okay. So if you're just someone who might not want the one-on-one support, and that's really helpful for the mental health support, in that way. But if you're just wanting the nutrition and the postpartum exercise, like the return to exercise, pelvic floor recovery, all of that, pelvic floor and core recovery. I have an automated course
amazing.
And it's got breastfeeding guides and it's got nurturing your marriage in the postpartum period. And because I think you're passionate about this too, but marriage is where it's at.
It is.
That's where we also need to support and support.
I
was like, is he over there?
No.
So
just so happy that I'm married.
Yes, I love it. But it's so and once once she's here, she's, going to change your world for the better, but it does make it harder. Yeah. And so it's really encouraging that it's okay to, your spouse comes first. Absolutely. Yeah. But your spouse will always come first. And that's a good thing for your kids to know too. Mommy or daddy come first before the kid. So I could talk about that for hours too.
And I was just going to say, we're going to do a round 2 because I love that topic. Because I really do feel like, you know, like you said it earlier, when you pour into the woman, you're pouring into the whole entire family and that family as a unit.
Yes.
I say that moms are one of the most important influencers out there. Moms 100%. Are the testimonies of what we're building. So yeah, the marriage as a unit, I'm a complete fan. We're going to have you another one.
Okay,
on that.
Awesome.
But what is your Instagram handle so that people can find you so that they know where your resources are?
Excellent. So Instagram is @LiveWorthyWomen. And then I just realized I didn't.
That's okay. Pop that bad boy out.
And then I also have a Facebook. I feel like I'm struggling with linking them, but that's a whole nother story.
It's so hard.
Yes. But it's just Worthy Women on Facebook. Okay. And then technically I have like a free Worthy postpartum support group.
Okay.
Still trying to get that kind of up and running a little bit.
And that they can find on your Instagram and on your Facebook?
They can find that. It's a Facebook group.
Okay.
So yeah, it should be linked to the...
And then we'll put everything in the description below, but also there should be some bars popping up. We'll try our best, but we'll be able to put those links in.
Okay, perfect.
And then what do you have in your hands?
And then this, I stole this from my mama. This is my first copy of Third Trimester Prep. So I actually created this as a resource to use. One of the offerings I was going to give was called Third Trimester Prep. And so it's preparing for your postpartum during your third trimester. And so it's called Third Trimester Prep, preparing your mind, body, and spirit for postpartum. And it's got a lot of nuggets. You know, I'm a believer. I love Jesus. So it's definitely rooted in Christ and preparing physically, mentally, and of course spiritually for a little bit for delivery, but more so for the postpartum period, because there's so many resources out there and I love them about preparing your body for labor. But I just feel like the postpartum period is forgotten a lot. But we do know, again, like the fitness side of things, we know that if you're preparing well in pregnancy, then postpartum you'll benefit from that in the postpartum period. But
we have a special visitor.
You're so sweet. You just want to come hang out. I love it. Oh, you want to see my book? Yes.
It's like, I want to be the first person that has that besides. He's coming. There we go.
So it's like a big workbook. It's
the reality of living life with a baby.
Right, exactly. See?
Every time that he comes on, I'm just like, this is just real life. This is real life and it's quite all right.
I love it. That's so sweet. But this is like a bigger size because it's like a workbook.
Oh, amazing. Can they jot down inside? Oh, it's like an actual workbook. Okay.
Yeah. A lot of it is information, but a lot of it is like
applying
it's meant to, for you to like write in it. And you know, there's even breath prayers. I will say, one of my good friends, she made these beautiful
I love those
bracelets. They're called breath beads. So you can even search breath beads online.
What is her business name?
It's called Breath Beads.
Oh, amazing. Yeah. Okay. Super easy to remember. I will remember that.
And I think that's her Instagram handle.
Okay.
But her website is breath-beads.com.
Okay.
I believe. But I'm like, so she's a pelvic floor PT. She lives in Colorado.
Let's go. Oh, dang it.
So I should just go. Yeah, I know.
It's okay.
We can call her or something.
Yes.
But she's fabulous. I love her so much. But she started Breath Beads because she knows how much, breathing, again, diaphragmatic breaths, proper breathing is so important for just your overall health.
Cortisol levels and everything.
Yes. And just taking that 360 breath, that full out breath helps regulate your nervous system. It gets that parasympathetic, so your rest and digest system going rather than you're taking short breaths.
Yeah.
That gets your sympathetic nervous system like, oh, let's go.
Flight or fight.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well,
I'll keep a lookout for her as well. I am honored that you came and spent some time here with me today and that you're pouring into not only renewed movement, but me selfishly, because everything that you're saying, I'm keeping in my back pocket that if and when I need it, I can pull it out. And then also I have your phone number. So if I need it, I will be using it.
Please do.
And then if anyone else has questions, drop them in the comments down below. Follow Dr. Ashleigh and be a part of a village, whether it's mine, hers, both combined, find a village.
Absolutely.
See y'all later.
Thanks so much for having me.